We hope they don't happen in real life, but we can't stop watching them on screen.
Mother of God, no!
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 plane crashes in movies. For this list, we're looking at those crashes that have scared our pants off due to their realism, intensity, and sheer amount of destruction. Number 10, The Grey.
Listen, pal, I don't want to talk. I need some quiet, so I'm just gonna put my head back, okay?
Ostensibly about a man's fight for survival, this film features a group of characters faced with one desperate situation after another. This crash scene is particularly unnerving due to the darkness of the cabin and the scattered uncertainty of the passengers. As the plane becomes overwhelmed by distressed travelers and panicking flight attendants, Liam Neeson's character makes smart use of the seatbelts to ensure his survival. Always buckle up. Number 9, Final Destination.
There they go. Here we stay.
This movie follows the story of a group of teenagers who've managed to cheat death by exiting a plane before it crashes.
Qu'est-ce que c'est? The plane's gonna explode!
Shut up, Brownie.
You're so not funny.
The main character's premonition of the plane crash shows how quickly cheers can turn to screams. As turbulence violently shakes the cabin and oxygen masks descend, passengers are sucked out into the sky when the plane rips open. Ultimately, it's engulfed in a ball of flame that ensures no survivors.
Alex?
Number 8, The Aviator.
Spotless, Odie. No wiggle on the wheel or throttle.
Take it easy.
Leonardo DiCaprio plays an ambitious, dedicated, and stubborn Howard Hughes in this film.
Show me all the blueprints. Show me all the blueprints. Show me all the blueprints.
The plane crash in question sees Hughes attempting to take a military aircraft on a test flight when an engine malfunction causes him to go down in Beverly Hills. As he struggles to maintain altitude, the plane demolishes several suburban homes. Hughes finally comes to a crash landing, but not before shearing off a roof and demolishing a mansion. Oops.
Which car company do you work for?
A major one.
Number 7, Fight Club. Edward Norton plays a Joe Everyman with dissociative personality disorder who started an underground fighting ring turned anarchy group. While aboard a plane, his character secretly wishes for a plane crash.
Every time the plane banged too sharply on takeoff or landing, I prayed for a crash.
And thanks to the power of his imagination, we get to witness the carnage. Two planes collide midair, ripping one in half. As Norton's character watches in shock, passengers are wrenched from their seats and tossed into the darkness.
Life insurance pays off triple if you die on a business trip.
Number 6, Con Air.
Roger that, dude. Arming missiles.
Malloy, don't you do it! Get this way! What the hell are you doing, Larkin?
I got no moves, sir.
Stupid bastard!
Hardened criminals hijack a plane to make a break for freedom, and of course, high adrenaline action ensues. Eventually, their plane runs out of fuel and they're forced to crash land smack dab in the middle of the Las Vegas Strip. As the plane descends, it destroys the Hard Rock Cafe sign before barreling through traffic and eventually coming to a rest in front of the Sands Hotel. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas? Number 5, Knowing.
Anybody hurt? A couple of injuries, but nothing serious.
Nick Cage plays a widower fighting to solve the mysterious predictions included in a sequence of numbers. One of those predictions happens to be an incredibly sudden and devastating plane crash that happens right in front of him. Cage's character is talking to a cop when a plane careens out of the sky and its wing scorches across highway traffic. As it finally comes to a stop, it explodes, setting the remaining survivors on fire.
Are we supposed to fly that close to the mountains?
Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, blessed is thy.
Number 4. Alive. A South American rugby team is left stranded in the frozen tundra after their plane crashes in the Andes Mountains. And this crash is extra horrific as it's based on a real event. For the team, it was all fun and games until the plane collides with a mountain cliff, snapping it in half. Momentum pushes passengers out the rear through the wreckage, and the landing severely injures a number of the survivors.
I'm not dead. Never felt worse in my life, but I am not dead. I gotta go check up the
Number 3. Flight. Denzel Washington plays an alcoholic commercial airline pilot who narrowly saves his passengers from plummeting to their deaths. As he awakens from a drunken stupor, he and his co-pilot clamor to keep the plane from rapidly losing altitude. The pilots dump fuel and at one point turn the entire plane upside down to help mitigate its downward projection.
We're gonna roll it, okay?
What do you mean, roll it?
Gotta do something to stop this dive.
Eventually, they crash land, but not before they take off a church steeple.
Brace. 10. Brace for impact.
Hey, Al.
Where are we?
Somewhere over the Pacific Ocean. You pilots, you're funny.
Number 2. Castaway. Tom Hanks plays Chuck Noland, a FedEx employee stranded on a deserted island after the cargo plane he's traveling on crashes into the sea. On that fateful flight, the plane suddenly experiences technical problems and begins a dive into the ocean, during which the pilots are killed and Chuck struggles to free himself from the sinking wreckage. A life raft eventually pulls him to the surface, where he narrowly avoids being sucked into an engine. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
Of your master plan.
Crashing this plane.
With no survivors.
Number 1.
This is it. This is the moment of my death.
Fearless. Jeff Bridges plays a man empowered by a near-death experience after surviving a plane crash.
We're gonna make it, Max. He's gonna bring us in. He's gonna bring us in.
There's a boy alone up there.
What?
I'm gonna sit with him.
As passengers brace for impact, Bridges' character provides a moment of calm in the midst of the chaos.
Close your eyes. It'll be over soon. Everything is wonderful.
the plane is torn to shreds as it makes contact with the ground, with passengers being thrown violently left and right. The score mutes the sound of the turmoil, adding a quiet moment of reflection as the plane's passengers meet their fate. Do you agree with our list? What do you think is the most memorable plane crash in movies?
All right, now everybody, get in crash position.
For more death-defying top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.